Welcome back to the broadcast. We are discussing matters, finances, and how best you can save even as you spend. Still with me in studio, Gideon Gitonga, financial analyst, right next to me. And on my father's right is Isaac the New, who's equally a financial analyst. We come back to that very note, Isaac, and when you speak of how you come in handy to advise people on how best they can, grow their savings, I ask this question again: how instrumental will that then be, to the national angle in terms of boosting the economy? Yeah,
basically, if we look at the challenges we have around the savings and investment sector, you see, if, for example, if individuals' well-being is not sorted out, like financially, you will have challenges because of poverty, and there's no way the economy will grow without their people, the wananchi, being able to sustain themselves financially. So, and through that is where fintech comes in, at least to support, to automate the processes of finance. Like, it is very, very hard to think about savings, and that is a challenge that each and every one of us probably faces at some point. So that is where fintech comes in to automate the process of saving and investment. Because many a times when we set goals, goals that you want to achieve, you want to buy a car at the end of the year, you want to start a business by the end of the year, and fintech helps you to create goals, to pre-create those goals so that you can automate the process of saving towards these goals. Because many a times when we don't think backwards, that how I've set a goal, how do I achieve it by the end of the year? And anytime you have to think about that I need to set some money aside, to achieve my certain goal, that never happens. You'll keep on procrastinating, but at the end of the year, you start having new resolutions, So that is where fintech comes in, at least to automate these processes. And I think a product like, I've seen so many fintech products where they do lending, some, savings, some investments. And I think a product like Sotika, where you have to create your goals and calculates for you the targets that you need to save each and every day, weekly and monthly, to reach some of these goals that you have. And you see, if as a nation, if we are able to reach these goals, even the economy thrives.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And now that he speaks of fintech,
Yes.
Probably for the person who probably would not be understanding what exactly that is,
Yes.
let's introduce them briefly to that
Yes.
and the importance of the same,
Yes.
and why they should then learn the art of fintech or delve into understanding more of the same, and equally just finding themselves into embracing this.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Linda. So as you've said, there have been concerted efforts by the regulator and the players in the capital market sector. So if you look at the registered fund managers and you look at all the service providers in that industry, including brokers, they are trying to involve the retail customer.
Okay.
Going back to your earlier question, and you asked, what is the impact of this to the country? So the reason why that the government is keen that on Vision 2030 we should be at 25% in terms of our national growth savings is because we use our own domestic savings to spur our own economic growth. It is important, and if you look at the political space, everybody is talking about empowering the common wananchi. So that's the retail customer. So how do we get the retail customer participating in the capital market sector and putting aside some money for their financial well-being?
Okay.
So one of the ways is employing technology. So if you look at Kenya, we have the highest numbers of internet penetration. We have the highest number of smartphone penetration. So we are the biggest adopters of technology.
Right.
Yeah, we have M-Pesa, and everybody is very proud of M-Pesa. So that means that leveraging technology becomes the only solution, the best solution that we can be able to use to get the retail customer participate. You get it, yeah? And that's the reason why I think Isaac is making reference to these kind of solutions.
Yeah.
And if you look at the big players in the market, they are all developing fintech solutions. targeting the kadogo economy, targeting the common mwananchi, because they want convenience, they want something that is fast, they want to be to have control of their money, and that's the reason why some of these solutions that are being developed are able to help in inculcating a savings culture.
Right.
And we talk about savings, we talk about discipline, and as he was saying, for a Kenyan to actually actively think of putting money aside, it's the most difficult thing to do.
Is,
yes, look at the economy, you look at the taxes, the taxes, fuel prices are up, you have to spend. You have to spend.
Right.
And that's the reason why we are spending close to 95% of our GDP. So therefore, we need young people, we need companies, we need investments to be put into solutions that marry to the Kenyan lifestyle. So our Kenyan lifestyle is what? People are spending and they have to spend. So you know, one of the rules that we advise our customers is the 50-30-20 rule. Spend 50% of your salary on your basic needs, 30% on your luxuries, and save 20%. How many people do you think can save 20% of their salaries? If you look at the formal employment, the only 1.9% of the formal employed people earn above 100,000 shillings in Kenya. They cannot. And that's the reason why I think one of the solutions that he has mentioned is called Sotika. So that solution allows you to save as you spend.
Okay.
Why? Because it is a solution. It is a solution that thinks of the Kenyan lifestyle. People are gonna spend money.
Right.
I told you 70% of the people who are banked in Kenya have taken loans to finance their very expensive lifestyles. They are buying cars they don't need. So they are bringing down their cash flow. So we have to have innovative solutions where, as I pay in my supermarket, as I pay for my fuel, as I pay on my food joint at Java or at Pizza Inn, something is going passively because where I don't have to think about it. It's being charged the same way that your M-Pesa charges you for doing a transaction.
Okay.
And that money is going to your savings account, to your savings account, and it's going to earn you an interest. You get it? Eh? So we have to create innovative solutions, and fintech is one of those areas that we need to be able to embrace. And because Kenyans know that they have to take a personal initiative to be able to spur their own household incomes, to be able, so you know, I was in a conference over the weekend, and we were saying that Kenyans know what they need to do, but they're not doing it.
Right.
So you know you have to save, but you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So you have to make that deliberate effort. And the deliberate effort is to embrace technology that enables you to put aside some money.
Yeah.
That enables you to put aside some money every time that you spend. So when you look at your M-Pesa statement at the end of the year and you transacted 5 million shillings, if you imagine you are saving only 5% of every that transaction, you have what? You have 25,000 shillings sitting there. So why do you need to go and borrow 1,000 shillings at 10%? Why do you need to go and borrow 1,000 shillings at 7.5% or 2,000 shillings at these exorbitant interest rates? So one of the things that I tell my customers is, for you to be a success is when you start thinking like a bank.
Okay.
The banks have a very good business model that has been very successful for a very long period of time. They make a lot of profit. When you start thinking like a bank and stop thinking like a bank customer, then you are in your way to creating financial freedom.
Okay.
It's about cash flow. How do you build up cash flow? You reduce the interest you have to pay, you reduce the penalties that you have to pay, you reduce the bills that you have to pay, you reduce the taxes that you have to pay. How do you do that? You look at a solution that gives you ownership, control of your savings, and one that allows you to build up your savings reservoir passively without having to think about it. Yes.
All right, that's interesting. And when you speak about Sotika, right?
Yes.
I'd love to look at that. And Isaac, you accept the fact that we all are not tech savvy, and it's all right in as much as we say that we don't now cease moving just because we think that we're all not tech savvy. How then does it come in to cater for the interests of the few who are not tech savvy, who are equally struggling in terms of making sure that they're able to save? Because reality is that, I keep saying this.
Yes.
Ukishinda mamilioni today, you know what, whether you are a spendthrift or not, it is common sense that you will spend and you will think, I can put up a shop, I can put up a structure somewhere there, I can put rental buildings, and that way I'll be able to generate money. But sometimes we really do not have the luxury of this. We're not so lucky to get this, and therefore it's just hand to mouth. It's technically what it is that you're getting cannot even sustain your own lifestyle, and therefore it becomes extremely hard for one to save. How do we incorporate those that are not tech savvy into this?
Basically it's through education, and I think through the capital markets, they have tried to to make sure that all this information about investments and savings is out there. And what I would say, if you want to learn more about all this, it's through YouTube, you know, because these are not some of the things, these are not things that we have learned in school. So I would really encourage our people to be able to do research, you know, because all these things are out there, you know, through Google, you know, through YouTube. You basically can learn whatever you would want to learn.
Right.
And that is why, you know, like companies that do these services, they have YouTube channels, you know, where they educate their customers, you know, and that's why you have this kind of a show, you know, to make sure that people have this information. So I think that is where education comes in, and we as a company, we try our level best to educate our customers, because like you're saying, these are new. The fintech is financial technology. It's new tech. You know, it's emerging tech in the whole world. So we are trying our level best to make sure that our customers are educated. And thank you for having us, because we are preaching the gospel. Yes.
All right. How best are we preaching this gospel? And I still will ask the same question. Fintech generally, well embraced, and the few who've embraced it then are reaping the fruits, and they're reaping big for that matter. But we also do not want to move, leaving you know, a quarter of the population aside, or a certain you know, number of population aside, because we want to. And we're thinking about the national aspect in this case. That it's good to empower yourself, and then that will trickle down or will culminate to empower or making sure that at least nationally we are good. So how do we move together as a bandwagon that is headed towards the same goal?
That's a very good question, Linda. We would want everybody to be on board. Financial inclusion is an area that most institutions are making a lot of investment in, to ensure that everybody is included. So if you look at the M-Pesa platform, which is one of the biggest fintech solutions we have in Africa, it has over 26 million customers on their platform. Even people that don't know how to use smart gadgets, people who have the kabambe sort of gadgets, they are on the M-Pesa platform. So how do we include them? So including them is times from what I think Isaac is saying. It's financial literacy. So if you look at the financial literacy levels in this country, they are very low. And that's the reason why we have to make deliberate efforts to educate our people on finance matters. The financial management or personal finance is not a course that anybody does in school or in the university. But at the end of the day, it is the bulk of your life. It determines the quality of life that you're going to live. So there must be deliberate and concerted efforts, both from government, both from government regulations, both from the private sector, to be able to educate our customers or our population in terms of there are these solutions that are available. We can be able to take advantage of them. And as I say, we need to include more people into this. People that are not even tech savvy, people that are not able to use these smart gadgets. And how do we do that? We leverage on the existing technologies. And after the M-Pesa has 26 million customers, that's above the adult population of this country. So what does that mean? It means we can actually be able to have everybody. Because and you see, M-Pesa is doing very well because they're opening up their solution for private innovators to be able to build on top of it through public APIs. And one of the solutions that I know is being explored is a way that passive savings can be done directly from the M-Pesa network. I know there are solutions that are being worked so that the merchants who are using M-Pesa has over 300,000 merchants. This can be able to support their customers in terms of cashbacks. Any small savings that you can be able to make, they need to go back to be able to help you as a Kenyan customer. So I think financial literacy, I think the innovative ways that these fintech players can be able to adopt to ensure that they're able to include everybody, that should be the way to go. And concerted efforts and investments need to continue to be made. There must be awareness that is going to be created by the regulator. I'm sure not many people know what the role of CMA. Not many people do that. But I like what I'm seeing, because they are holding barazas in all the counties. I can see counties are now setting up forums and incubation centers to incubate businesses, to educate the SMEs, to be able to give them the tools that they need, so that they can be able to uplift themselves. And I'll give you one success story. You see, the micro-lending industry has been very big for the last 10 years. it has been so big such that we have all seen the effects of cheap capital coming into the pockets of our people. We have 14 million people now at CRB. Over 6 million of them are negatively listed at CRB, and they're not able to access loans anymore. Why? The small man has been looking for ways to get this capital. So it actually means that Kenyans are getting to the point where they are willing to adopt these technological solutions. But what we are saying is, can we be able to have an environment where we do not take advantage of these vulnerable people, but provide them sustainable solutions that are going to ensure that their lives are better, that their tomorrow is greater than their today.
Right.
So how do you do that? You do that by developing deliberate solutions that seeks to better their lives. Microlending has been one of the ways to fleece people. And as I've told you, cash flow is key for you to be able to have a good life. The moment you start charging someone 10% a month, what does it mean? They are working for you. They're essentially working for you. They are not able to have enough money to put aside. But imagine if someone was paying the 10% to themselves. Imagine someone was paying 10% interest to their own account. And that's the reason why we are saying we need solutions that are going to bring these people on a platform that helps them create sustainable solutions. That's why we are saying, think like the bank. The bank wants to be paid interest. The bank wants to be paid interest early. So how do you think like that? I build up my cash flow, right? Passively, without having to think about it. So every time I'm spending, there's something small. So the day I want to borrow 1,000 shillings, I'll borrow it from my own savings.
Let's speak about
pay
borrowing.
Myself.
Yes, let's speak about borrowing. And I'm glad that you somehow answered my question even before I asked it. Isaac, most of the saving options that we have today are those ones that will automatically expose you to loans. And most of the Kenyans, so to speak, dread loans. In as much as we really are sometimes pushed to those angles, I can tell you for free that we dread taking loans, especially those big ones that would help us do great investments. And sometimes it's not the case. It's just that there's fear of the unknown. One, the business environment is not so friendly, and therefore you take a loan at your own risk because you do not know whether you're going to invest and get returns and be able to service that loan. And sometimes you look at your income, your space of income, and you realize that in most cases you probably are not capable. And if you are, there's not that guarantee that you're going to be having the same space of income tomorrow. Like for instance, you're employed. Nowadays, I'll tell you, even employers do not give contracts. You're just there. You're staying afloat. You're surviving. And so in this case, how do we make sure that at least we are able to work on this space, in the sense that even if we are to invest much on loans, then the environment will be friendly enough for us to be able to even service our loans and comfortably regenerate the same. And like he says, put so much savings that we'll be able to get credit based on these savings that we have put.
In regards to that, Linda, one of the cheapest loans you can get is from a friend. And we are also saying that you can also loan yourself. When we talk about saving, we're talking about you save to cater for, maybe it's money that you don't need now, but you might need it at a later date. So this is why we are saying Fintech comes in to solve all these problems. Because if I can be able to save every single shilling when I spend, like let's say just for example, if I spend shillings 1,000, if 50 and save like 5% of these 1,000, if this 50 shillings, the 5% is 50 shillings, is going towards my emergency fund, because we are saving money for emergencies, So if the 50 shilling is being saved toward my emergencies, I can easily now, when I have an emergency, I just borrow from myself. And like he said, the best way is not to go and borrow very expensive loans. Like I'm being charged 10% per month. And like you're saying, business is not predictable. It's not very well predictable. I might borrow shillings 100,000 and invest it somewhere, and I end up not, getting the returns that I had anticipated. So it means I will lose my 100,000, and I'm still being, I still owe the the lender shillings, let's say 10% of what I borrowed. So basically what we would say is it is good we build reservoirs, to be able to borrow from ourselves, so that we don't end up getting into this CRB and all that. And basically be able to solve all those challenges around the ball sector.
How then do we grow our savings or allow them to grow faster?
Yes.
Because you could be saving, yes, but you are taking steps that really are not instrumental towards ensuring that you grow your economic capabilities or financial capabilities.
Yes. Good question, Linda. So one of the things that we tell our customers is this: cowards die many deaths before they use your death.
Yes.
Anybody who is piling up money, saving, when you're piling up money, you're doing so because of fear. And you said it. I am fearing for tomorrow. So I start piling up money so that by tomorrow, I will not be able to lack. So that is someone who is cutting down on their expenses because they don't want to live the life that they want, is someone who is living in fear. But there must be a change of the mindset. For you to be able to start producing money, there must be a change of mindset because you need to be a producer of money. That's what we're asking.
Yeah.
How do I multiply my money? There's a very good program we started. It's called Be Your Own Bank. Being your own bank is changing your mindset from being a bank customer to thinking the way the banks think. How? It is about me building my reservoir, then me being in control of that particular reservoir, then growing the money, making decisions on how I grow the money. On Be Your Own Bank program that we are currently running, that people can be able to register on, we show you how 10,000 shillings in 3 years can be 1.7 million shillings.
Okay.
If you were to save 10,000 shillings every month for 3 years, it would be 360,000 shillings every month. But we are showing you how, instead of it being 360,000, it's going to be 1.7 million shillings in 3 years.
Okay.
Then if you want to buy the car that you wanted, you can take the loan from yourself and pay that interest back to yourself. You're thinking like the bank. The bank wants the interest. So it's you now who is going to make that particular interest. So if you want to know how you can save sustainably, it's changing the mindset and starting to think like a producer of money. You're just not saving to earn that interest. It's about thinking about the compounding factor.
Right.
Find solutions where your money is going to be growing on a daily basis. Then find a solution where you have control of your money and you can be able to make your investment decisions. I know this because one of the platforms, I think the one that is talking about Consultica, gives you the ability to decide where to invest your money, the kind of risk that you can be able to take on your money. It gives you the ability to start becoming a lender. And that's why we were saying peer-to-peer loans is the cheapest loan you can get.
Right.
If you borrow me 100,000 shillings today, I may not give you because I'm not very sure you're going to pay me back.
Yes.
But if there was a trusted solution that you could borrow me money on, and I am guaranteed that you're likely to pay me, I'm likely to give you that money very cheaply, probably at even 1%. Yes. So if you are able to adopt solutions that allow you to build up cash flow, that allow you to be in control of your money, and then you are able to trade that money and multiply it, then savings doesn't only become savings, but it becomes an avenue for you to grow wealth, for you to grow your cash flow. So if you want to be a millionaire, we can show you how 10,000 shillings per month for 36 months can be 1.7 million shillings.
Okay.
And when you want to buy that car, you take a loan from yourself, you buy the car and pay back to yourself. You don't get to liquidate your savings plans. You get, because some of the platforms that are there, and we like them, but there are platforms that you put money, it's like you put money under the mattress. When you just get a simple problem, you liquidate it and just use the money. But you need a sustainable financial plan that does not give you an option just to walk out when you feel like walking out. It's about building your life so that your tomorrow can be greater than your today, and you have the money you need to live the life that you want. So there are formulas of multiplying your savings so that it's not just piling money, but it is money that is growing. Make sure it's earning an interest. Make sure that all interest you pay to yourselves. Look for programs where there are tax incentives. For example, if you look at the housing plan, if you're saving towards a house, and now the government allowed fund managers to manage the housing fund. So if you are doing that, you get a tax rebate of up to 26,000 shillings per year. And you're not taxed when you withdraw that money to actually buy your house. So you're looking for areas you can start making the small savings. If you go for discount with these retail outlets, and I like, because most of them are now coming and saying, we need to be mindful of our customers. You see the big supermarkets, you see the petrol stations where they're full. They are saying, because we are mindful about you, if you have a savings plan, we can support you, do a cashback. So buy this number of liters, we give you back 100 shillings. Buy this amount of shopping, and we give you back 50 shillings to your to your savings. But if you're in control of your savings and you're the one making decisions on how you're going to invest that particular money, then you are likely to multiply it much more faster. And this is very unlike, for example, if you invested in a money market fund today, you'd get around 8 to 9%.
Yes.
Who did you give the money to? The fund manager.
Yeah.
He charges you a management fee of 2%, and he's the one who's in control of the money. He's the one trading the money, so he's probably making more money out of it. But imagine you gave yourself that money that you give to the fund manager. It's still earning you interest, right? But you can make a decision. You see a good opportunity with the SIB Masa X. SIB Masa X earns you between 18 to 25%, and decide I can put some money here. You see a good opportunity to lend someone at probably 2%. You say, I'm going to lend you for 2%. You see, you have the ability you're in control of your money, and you can decide how can I be able to multiply it. So savings is just not parking money.
Okay.
If you are parking money in a savings account for very little interest, then what you are doing, you are just trying to secure your future, and there is no growth that you're going to be able to achieve. We have a very good program called Be Your Own Bank program. You can sign up to it, and we'll show you how 10,000 shillings per month can turn out to be.
How do they get a hold of you?
So if you want to get in touch with us, you get on our Facebook pages, Sotika app. You can get us there as financial analysts, because what we've done at Sotika, we've brought together so many financial analysts to provide personalized finance training to Kenyans. You know, it's very expensive to get a financial advisor. And Kenyans are saying, can I get a free financial advisor? Yes, they are there. With Sotika, we have hired so many of them, and we train them every day to be able to provide financial advice to customers and be able to work with them this journey. So when we talk about a 3-year plan, it's about you working with a financial advisor. So you get one for free, one who helps you be able to understand how to multiply your money, one who helps you to select investment assets where you can be able to place your money, one who works with you the journey, right? Not one who leaves you just to make those decisions by yourselves. So we've done a survey, and we've realized that Kenyans are saying, we need a financial advisor. We need one, but I cannot afford one. So you can now be able to get one with Sotika. So go to our Facebook page, Sotika, our Twitter page, at Sotika app, the Sotika A, at Sotika A. Then our phone numbers are also there. You'll be able to get us. And one of the best things is that we have an app for all this. Just download it on Play Store or iOS, on Apple Store. Sotika, just download it and start your journey and talk to us. We'll get you a financial advisor to walk the journey with you. It's not about packing money, but it's about multiplying and growing money. It is the only way we can be able to create impact in our economy and allow allow ourselves to be able to generate the money we need to be able to fuel our economy by ourselves without having to go for the expensive debts that we've gone for.
All right, thank you so much, Gideon Gitonga. Isaac Tendeu, as we come to a close, a friend of mine keeps telling me, you know what, take care of the pennies, and the big money, the notes will take care of themselves. But we rarely do that, you know. In most cases, you look at a shilling and you just look at it as though it's a shilling, and you don't do nothing towards making sure that it is multiplied or it's taken care of. Sometimes when you're lending to a friend, you probably lent to them 100,000 and you do not want them to pay you back with interest, even if it's just 1% or 1 point or 0 point something percent. So in this case, how important is it to take care of the pennies as we come to a close?
Yeah, good question, Rita. I keep on insisting on fintech, you know, financial technology, because discipline sometimes it's hard to be disciplined, you know, on matters to do with finance, and that's why most of us make the mistake of lending to people. You know, you end up lending to a friend and you lose both the money and the friend.
That's true.
Yeah, so and that's why a solution like Sotika, where we do peer-to-peer lending, you know, I lend to a friend that I know has investments. You know, I lend to a friend that I know has savings. Like for example, if I want to lend you shillings, or 10,000, just an example, I'll look at your profile. You know, you'll just send me a request on the application. I'll see if it's risky. You know, if it's risky, I know you don't have something that to secure. You know, if you have, I'll say, wow, good, I can lend you this. And you see, I've lent you some 10,000 shillings, and your money is still earning some interest. I can also make money from you, because I can charge you a small interest, and that is interest that we negotiate. You know, we negotiate that, you know, Linda, I want to borrow you shillings 10,000, but you'll fund it with an interest of 2%. We agree. I tell you, Linda, no, this 2% is too high. I will charge you an interest of 1%, and we agree, and the loan is processed within minutes. So, but again, how do we build these funds to
briefly?
Yeah, it is through the small pennies, you know, the pennies.
Yes.
You know, it is through every time we are spending, because you'll hear of people say, oh, I don't have money to do this, I don't have money to do this. But if you look at your M-Pesa transactions, you'll see you are always spending. Whether you earn shillings 10,000 per month, whether you earn shillings 5,000 per month, whether you earn 100,000 per month, we are always spending. So, and that is why a solution like Sotika, we are tapping into those expenditures, you know. You get prompted, you know, you get prompted to save 5% of what you've spent. Like I gave an example, if you spend 1,000 shillings,
We have to close, yeah?
yeah, you're prompted to save that 5%. That 5%, that 50 shilling, goes into your emergency fund, goes into the goals that you have created, goes into your investment goals. You know, when you mentioned something to do with the financial literacy, there is the robo-advisor, because some of us are not conversant with the very many investments that we have.
Yeah.
You know, so the robo-advisor, you just need to key in, because the investor, what most of the investors know is that I have shillings 100,000 that I want to invest, and this is the return that I want to make at the end of the year, and this is the risk that I want to take.
Okay.
With the solution like Sotika, you just key in the investment and it calculates for you all the rest. You know, so it advises you, it selects, it diversifies your 100,000 into very many investment companies that we have listed on the application. And these investments are regulated by the Capital Markets Authority. So you have no risk of losing your funds, because many other times is when we have money and we invest into scams.
That's true, and it happens a lot. We lose so much, but all the same, as you know, Gideon has told you, you can check them out and see how best you can be able to get that advantage, because it is important at this point in time when we speak of tough economic times. But all the same, it does not stop us of looking at how best we secure our future. Gentlemen, this is a conversation that cannot end, and I'm glad that we constantly speak about matters finances, that we hope to have a hold of you some other time with more in regards to how best you can make sure that you spend, but most importantly save. And so we close this one and we get to a different conversation altogether on matters health, and this time around on the aspect of emergency, and we speak to an official from St. John's, that is Majiwa, in a few, as we get to understand of their experiences.
Thank you.